I have the Furry Shop Manager by my side as usual. We're going to work on the F350 here a little bit. I'll probably have enough time to get this complete side done tonight, so let's concentrate on that. What I'm going to do on the fender is put a tape stripe down. We'll cut it with the rotary, we'll finish it. I'll remove the tape, we'll see what the difference is, and we'll get some measurements. I know you can already see without breaking out the swirl finder that we have some issues to deal with. There's no shine, really. It's oxidized, it's scratched, it's swirled. Same thing here. We have some minor bumps and bruises on top of that to take care of. And then here we have a funky issue where there was a repair done, so I'm going to do a little bit of wet sanding to see if I can diminish that a bit. That's pretty deep, but sometimes wet sanding helps a little bit. The very first thing we're going to do, this has been washed, still have water running down. This has been washed, but we want to, and decon, we want to remove these double-sided tape marks here from the trim. I'm just going to keep the trim off of it, remove the marks, polish, and we'll go from there. So let's start with that. Guys, the Whizzy wheel or the 3M wheel, whatever you want to call it, does a fantastic job. Just a quick tip, you don't have to really watch what you're doing on metal, but plastic substrates and rubber bumpers, keep the temperature down, or this can burn through the paint. But it works fantastic in most cases. All we have left over here is some very thin adhesive, and for that, we'll be able to finish it off with the Citral 266. Now this black Ford clear coat is going to be harder and a little bit thicker than the Lexus Infinity softer clear coats we've been working on for the last few weeks. 4.8 mils. So just under 5 mils to work with. That's plenty to be able to cut with the rotary polisher. A Lake Country hybrid wool pad, which is what we have ready to go here. I'm going to grab a compound. I'll show you what that is. But we're going to do a cut and polish, or cut and finish. Two-step process. 2 steps to bring this black paint out here, and we'll see what we can do. And I know it's been a while since I've shown this, but we have quite a few new members since the last time I did show. This is 2 mils, just under 2 mils of thickness. This is what the manufacturer will give you in thickness when it comes to the layer of clear coat. So not a whole lot to work with. I just wanted you to realize that if you're new to paint systems. The final choice for the cutting process will be the wool pad on a rotary and the ACA 500 3D compound. Alpha ceramic alumina abrasives is going to be the choice. ACA 500 from 3D to do the cutting process. Teams up great with a wool pad. And I've tried so many compounds over the years, old and new, and the newer technology. Even with that, I keep coming back to the 3D ACA 500, if that tells you anything at all. It's good stuff. So we're going to spread out some product. We're going to do some cutting. a lot of odd shapes and contours, and you saw how I had to tilt and lean the polisher in certain directions to get in some of those contours. For the most part, if you're working on a flat panel, you want to keep it flat, but sometimes you don't have a choice. If you want to get in there and do some digging, you got to move the polisher and that will come naturally. I always recommend getting a junk panel from a body shop, picking up a rotary and start cutting and practicing on that. All right, let's get rid of that. I don't like the adhesive from the tape getting bound up with the polisher, and you get that adhesive up in the polishing pad, makes it clogged and not quite as effective. Keep it here. All right, so this is just the, and I'll get the swirl finder, but this is just the cutting process. And we can already see a definitive line. Let me get the swirl finder. We'll see a little bit of a haze from the cutting process. Okay, so we're going from this to that. Removing the swirls and scratches, leaving behind a slight haze. So we're going to move on to the second step, and that will remove and refine those areas. Pretty big difference already. For the second step, I'm going to use a Roops fine finish pad. That's yellow. They have white, which is ultra fine. Both great pads, and they last pretty long. This one's getting beat up. This one's old. I think I'll use it one more time. We're going to team that up with the Fabulous Finish from Phoenix EOD. And we've already done the heavy lifting with the rotary and the wool pad and that cutting correction cream that I showed you. So all this is doing is removing the haze left behind from the rotary and the wool pad. It's not attacking the paint or going after swirls or scratches, just haziness. All right, let me see if that indeed was enough for the finishing process, as that is hard or clear. Yes. Yeah, that did the trick. That will work. Nowhere near perfect. Some of the deeper scratches I am not going to chase after, because this is a work truck, not a show truck, not a garage queen. It's going to go down driveways that are just a little too narrow, picking up cars, branches, bushes scraping up against it, doing work, anything can come in contact with the truck. So I'm going to leave a lot of room and a lot of clear coat on there for when the next stretch hops on there, ends up on my paint. I have plenty of room to correct it, right? Let me bring you in and show the difference that we've made. Before, swirls, dull, oxidation, and after. Before, after. So we have, you could barely see the reflection of the light, just the light source. Over here, we could see finer details of the light itself and even what's written on it. My plan of action, by the way, if it would have been something that was going to stay a showroom shine, would have been to do some wet sanding, especially in some of those areas, spot correcting, where the scratches are too deep. And there are chips as well in here, stone chips. I could have wet sanded and got the surface a lot smoother, but I want to leave as much clear behind as possible. And this thing's going to look fantastic when it's done. So let's continue. So we'll cut the paint starting from where I left off, back through here. And I'm even going to go over that, make that shine a little bit more, hold that off until I can remove the flares and paint them in the booth. And then we'll go back down that way with the finish process, and we'll take a look at this side. See the improvement, if any, that we make. I wanted to stop. By the way, how many have seen this on a vehicle, a dark colored vehicle when they're out in the sun? Plenty of times. And what that is, those are buffer trails from the rotary polisher and the wool pad. A lot of your dealerships, used car dealerships, new car dealerships, will do the cutting process, but they don't know how to finish. And they leave it like that. So if you ever see a vehicle like that, you know why. Cutting process is finished. Looks a lot better already, doesn't it? You're getting some reflections. It's getting dark, so I had to turn that thing on. That's like the surface of the sun, both in brightness and in temperature. I looked online and I did find those for like 28, 30 bucks, those two pieces on eBay. So I'm just going to leave those to guide me. That's a little bit of where it damaged the paint, the adhesive being there for so many years. So I'll get those pieces, and even back here where the clear chipped off, we're starting to get a bit of shine from that color coat. So what we want to do is follow what I did with the finishing polish and take a look and see if we have some marked improvement over the original state when I got it. Once again, we'll finish it off with the Phoenix EOD Fab Finish, dual action polisher, Rupees Fine Pad. And that is it. We are finished. Looks good, looks good. Again, not perfect. The deeper stuff, The chips, the scratches, the peeling clear coat, that's going to stay. I just wanted this to look a little bit better and presentable running down the road. And what I'll do is I don't want to coat this because it will get scratched up and marred up again as it is a work truck. I'm just going to do, put BC9 on here. That is our, obviously that's our 9 to 12 month spray sealant, and lock in all that goodness. And because it's just a sealant, not a coating or PPF, if I do go down a narrow driveway or if I get battle scars from it working, I'll have plenty of clear coat to correct it. I'm going to grab you guys, bring you in close. We're going to measure the paint depth with a gauge, and we'll also measure gloss as well. So this is what the top of the vehicle and the driver's side looks like, and this is what the passenger side looks like now. I'd say a little bit better. Get those trim pieces on there yet. Those are on the way. I ordered them. Get the flares off and paint them, but you can even see underneath the color coat at least has a sheen to it. A little bit better. What do you think? A little bit more presentable? I would say so. With the two steps, let's do some measurements. Did we remove a ton of clear coat? A little bit. Still above 4. And you've seen me measure new cars that were in the 3s. So we have plenty of clear coat to correct in case something happens. It gets more battle scars. But we have a ton of clear coat left over. What about the old gloss meter? We haven't pulled that out in quite some time. Mid-90s. Consistent mid-90s. Mid-90s, and we haven't even applied protection. I'll take that. And that'll do for a work truck for me. I'll catch you in the next video.